Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this video, we're going to take a look at tab stops. And for that, we're going to go back in history and take a look at the typewriter. So this is an image from the Wikipedia of a typewriter. And you see this model actually has a tab key. It's here. But the very early models didn't have that. So all they had was the letters and the numbers and then a space bar. So now imagine what they needed to do when they wanted to write an inventory or an invoice. Then let's take a look at how that would have looked. So you type what you have and what you want to write the invoice for. So probably you sold some flour, and then you would need to type in a column the quantity. And in order to have that column sit somewhere, maybe here, because we also need some space for longer words, so we would need to hit the space bar a couple of times until we are maybe here and say the quantity that we sold, and then hit the spacebar once more, and then the amount of money somebody has to pay, like this. And then we can hit return, and then we can type the next item, and then we would hit the spacebar again. So this here now is the wrong typeface. So let's select that all and change to a monospace font like Korea, like this. And then let's also widen this one like so. So now we've hit this space here and again type some more spaces until we are where we want to be. Now this is a very tedious and also an error-prone process. Because, well, if you type all these lines of text and then you would hit the space bar and then maybe you would miss it and need to go back, and that is all not very time-saving. So in order to get that column where you want it to be, what you can use is tab stops. Now again, let's go back to the typewriter. The tab stops were built into this typewriter at certain spaces, every model in a kind of different space. A lot of them had them at the back of this carriage. There was some kind of ruler and it had some actual metal things built onto it to which the tab key could then scroll. And on some typewriters it looked, for example, like this. So this was one that could be removed from the typewriter and then inserted again. And what this caused was then that the typewriter went there. So let's delete this and let's make the new one. And in order to simulate somewhat how that worked, let's also go to Window, Type, and then let's go to the tabs, like this. And you see it's attached to the text frame. So if I draw it here and click here, then you see it gets attached. But I can still move it around. Now, how this would have worked, and let's first select all and delete this text, is you set these tab stops, and on the typewriter you would move some metallic things around, but in here you can just click. Let's click here, and on the typewriter they are all left aligned. So let's click sometime like this. So now we have set the tab stops, and then we can write the text. And when I now hit the tab key, then you see the carriage moves to that point where the tab stop is, and then I can type the text and then hit the tab key again and get to the next one. Let's enter the quantity and then we enter the sum like this. So now I'm going to the next line. And now let's see when I enter a longer word, what happens then? So we have a longer word. So this is the name of the product, like this. And you see the tab stop is here. So this word is longer. When I now hit the tab key, it goes to the next available tab stop, like this. So the tab stops, they are not assigned to a certain tab key that I put into the text. And now we're going to turn on the invisible characters, the hidden characters, like this. And you see, this is the tab key. And Illustrator just counts them. The first here is linked to that, if available. But in here, the first one is linked to that because this one is not available. The text is longer and then it gets missed. So you cannot assign them. If you type a longer word here, then you see everything jumps to the next available one. That's just how this system works. And then we have one in here that doesn't jump to any tab stop because there is no one. So if I enter one here, then you see it jumps as well. They are not assigned. So now we have used this in a way where I have first set up the tab stops and then wrote the text. But of course, we can do it the other way around. We can also start with a text frame. And of course, you can import that and can also import that with some tabs. We have it like this and then enter the next one, type something and the next one, etc. And have a new line. And you see, when I do that here, then these jump to certain spaces because that's some automatism built into that system. Let's get this down here. And you see no tabs. And then we can just start and make some. And once I put that here, then you see they get aligned in the way that I want them to be. But now we have them all left aligned. We can also click on this one and maybe I want that right aligned. And again, this will only work when there is another space. So let's assume I move that closer to here. This still works. Any more, then they jump to the next available one. So that is what you have to keep in mind when planning your tab stops, that the tab stop has to be available for the text. So now that you've seen how they work, you can totally make your own and no longer need to use Illustrator's built-in ones or spaces. I'm going to link a video that I've made about issues that the tab stops can cause you while working with them and how to address